campaign against the Igbo people, history they try to erase. It is a very broad topic. We will try as much as possible to do justice to it, as we have always done. So before we go fully into that very topic, we need to go to the update of the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. The supreme leader of IPOB, Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, our leader. Every one of you know that the Nigerian government have illegally convicted Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. They illegally convicted Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, and they went ahead to take him all the way to Sokoto to hide him away from his people, to hide him away from us, to make sure they limit the amount of information that we get from him, to make sure they isolate him from us. That was the only intention that made them to take Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to Sokoto. They wanted to make sure that they cage us. And it has everything to do with the topic we are discussing today, because they know the power of the media. They know that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, even though they did not give him access to the media, the social media have given Mazen Nnamdi Kanu a voice. The social media has given Biafrans a voice. And Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is somebody who can utilize every single second in front of the camera to pass a message. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu does not allow any second go by without passing a message to the media. So they try to isolate him. They try to let him have a blackout towards the media. But as Chukwu Okeke will have it, they came too late, and we cannot be stopped. So recently, the lawyers of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, his brother and wife, and the brother's wife, went to visit our supreme leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto. They met with him, they saw him, and the picture you are looking at there was the picture that was taken in Sokoto when they went to see Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in prison. You can see Aloy Jimako wrote there. This was on the 26th, by the way. It was on the 26th, day before yesterday. He said, I just arrived Sokoto with Prince Emmanuel Kanu and his wife to have a visitation with Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Ndi Igbo must vigorously rise to the urgent task of freeing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu from this ordeal and injustice that reflects on all of us. His message is spot on. They went to see Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, who has been detained illegally by the Nigerian government, convicted illegally. And they went ahead to continue to hold Mazen Nnamdi Kanu to make sure they keep him away from us. But we will not relent. We will continue to fight. And we will continue to give him a voice. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu will never give up, has never given up, and will never ever give up. And the next message is sent on 27th, which was yesterday. The lawyer of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu yesterday wrote, I just exited from meeting Mazen Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto prison. He remains indomitable and expresses profound gratitude to all who have stood by him like Nelson Mandela endured Reuben Island. Triumphed. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is enduring Sokoto with resilience and strength. This was written by Aloy Jimako. You can see the comparison. Reuben Island and the Sokoto where Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was taken. It is not a joke. It's not a child's play. But I thank Chukwu Okeke that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu knows what he was going in for. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is equal to the task. From the very first time he said it is either Biafra or death, it wasn't a joke. He wasn't saying that to entertain anybody. It wasn't an entertainment. It wasn't a joke. Just like the Nigerian media make it look. They are the people we are going to discuss today. Just like Nigerian media and their agents on social media. that they are using, including Igbos that they are using, including Igbos. More especially the Igbos they are using against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu today. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not a joke. He knows what he wants, and he knows what he's up to. And that is why you see this comparison. Ruben Island is a South African island near Cape Town, famous for his history as a political prison, most notable incarcerating Nelson Mandela. Today, it is UNESCO World Heritage Site that serves as a museum offering talk led by former prisoners to share the island history of oppression and the struggle for freedom. The island is also home to a small. So you see, this very small explanation about the Ruben Island is to show you how bad it is where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was taken to Sokoto. How bad it is. The only comparison is Ruben Island where Nelson Mandela was kept. And we went further to see on that same 27th, yesterday, 27th, Aloy Ejimako wrote, "This is a summon. This is a summons to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be presented on November 28th at Federal High Court, Abuja, for settlement of record for the appeal he filed before the November 20th judgment. A production warrant is required for the Sokoto prison to bring him to Abuja, but the court refused to issue it." Aloy Ejimako, the special counsel of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, made the move and went to obtain a summon to order the Sokoto prison to present Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for his appeal at the High Court, to process the necessary documents and file the appeal. But the courts refused to issue that summon. Nigerian court refused to issue that summon. Under normal circumstances, they were supposed to issue that summon. They were supposed to present Mazi Nnamdi Kanu today, being 28. Today is 28. At Federal High Court, Abuja. They are supposed to present Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at Federal High Court, Abuja today, being 28. For settlement of record for the appeal he filed before November 20th. There was an appeal he filed before November 20th. They were supposed to present Mazi Nnamdi Kanu today, being 28. A production warrant requires for the Sokoto prison to bring to Abuja, but the court refused to issue it. The court refused to issue that summon, ordering Sokoto prison to bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to court to pursue the appeal he filed before 20th judgment. Before that very 20th judgment, there was an appeal he filed. So he's supposed to be in Abuja High Court today. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is supposed to be in Abuja High Court today. But they refused to issue that very summon. The court refused to issue that summon. So when you begin to talk about the injustice against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they are not hiding it. They continue to display that injustice every single day. They are not hiding it. And what you are seeing here, for those who are watching on YouTube, what you are seeing here is the summon. That the summon posted, which they refused to issue. That is it. That is it. That's what you are seeing. In the Federal High Court holder at Abuja, charge number, so see, between Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Federal Republic of Nigeria. Respondent, see, summon to parties by registrar to settle record in compliance with order 8 Rule 2 of the Court of Appeal, Rules 2021. Take notice that all parties concerned are required to attend before me at the appeal section of the Federal High Court, headquarters, plot 1048-710, Cadastral Zone A100 off Shehu Shagari Way, Central Business District, Abuja, on the 28th day of November 2025, at the High Court to proceed with settlement to record of appeal therein. This was the move that was made, but the court refused to issue that summons. The court refused. They refused to issue that summons. So when we are talking about the injustice against the Igbos, which Mazi Nnamdi Kanu today is standing on the front line, it is not a joke. We are speaking about this injustice with every fact, information that is verifiable. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is supposed to be in appeal court today for a summons that he filed, even for a notice that he filed before that judgment was given. This notice was filed before that judgment, so the hearing was supposed to be today, 28th. And the court ordered that he is supposed to be there. He is supposed to be there against the federal government. But the court, that same Nigerian court, refused to give a summons to Sokoto to provide Mazi Nnamdi Kanu at the court. So you see how they are trying to delay the appeal. You see how they are trying to make sure that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu does not appeal. You see how they are trying to restrict Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, denying him of every single right he has. So when we are speaking about the injustice in Nigerian system, it is not just noise making. It's not just we are saying it because we want to. There are facts that backs every single thing that we say. So it's left for you to either pay attention or not. So we go ahead, and some people were already carrying stories and saying that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is having a court today. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not having any court today. He was supposed to be there for this very purpose I'm talking about now. He was supposed to be there for the appeal filed. The appeal he filed before that very 20th judgment that they gave. Before that, their fraudulent judgment. There was an appeal that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu filed. Before that fraudulent judgment. And he's supposed to be hearing the appeal today. 28th. He was supposed to. But you can see, Abuja court refused to issue a summons for Sokoto to provide Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, thereby hindering that very hearing from going on. That is what you just see, the update that the lawyer of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu gave yesterday. That was the update. So what you are seeing here are the people that visited Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto. These are the people that visited Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto. You can see his representative there. You can see his lawyers, you see his brother and relations that went to see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in Sokoto. This was yesterday too. They were all in Sokoto yesterday to see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is standing strong, never giving up. He is still standing very, very firm and strong. And Aloy Jumako wrote, we just concluded a visitation with Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Amongst delegation is Honorable Obi Agbocha, who also met with Onyendu yesterday, after which the Igbo communities here gave us a fraternal reception. We shall visit MNK again tomorrow, and more delegation is on the way. So that is the update on the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. There are important things that we need to know. We continue to follow up. They can never cage Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It doesn't matter how they try. We thank Chukwu Okikabe for the social media. If not for the social media, their plan would have worked, because their plan is to make sure they shut us out. They want to make sure that they silence us completely. They take Mazi Nnamdi Kanu away and they silence us. Nobody is going to speak. Nobody's going to talk. Nobody will know his whereabouts. Nobody will give account of what happens to him. But all glory to Chukwu Okike. We are here. We are following. And we will continue to speak up whenever we have to. Whatever happens, we will bring it on. So now we are going into our program of the day on the topic which says, that is showing me I wrote it on the topic which says, Nigerian media versus reality. Smear campaign against the Igbo people. History they try to erase. We are going into the topic fully. And after my introduction and speech, anybody who wants to join can come in, make your point, make your argument, bring your superior. You must not agree with me in everything I say. You are entitled to your opinion. That is why we are here. We are not here to gag you or to mislead you or to force you into believing something. No, that's not our work here is to bring opinions out and let the people be the judge. Let the world see what is going on and be the judge. So my fellow Biafrans, lovers of freedom, wherever you are watching this program, today we are addressing a topic that has shaped history, shaped perception, shaped how the world view Igbo people and the Biafra question. For decades, a powerful media narrative has been built. A narrative that misrepresents, that distorts, that labels, that demonizes. A narrative that turned genuine cries of justice into something suspicious. A narrative that has erased context, erased history, erased humanity. Today, we break down that narrative responsibly, truthfully, peacefully, because truth is not hate. Truth is clarity. Truth is justice. That is why we are here. And we will not stop. It doesn't matter the attack they throw to us. It doesn't matter the blackmail. It doesn't matter the threat. We will continue. And we dig into the root of the smear campaign against the Igbo people, against the Biafrans. From the post-Civil War era till today, major Nigerian media houses have adopted a pattern. From the post-Civil War era till today, major Nigerian media has adopted a pattern. That pattern is selective reporting, biased headlines, and framing that always casts the Igbo struggle as trouble, instability, or rebellion. I want you to pay attention. These are key information that the whole world should know about, including you that you are a Biafran, because there are some of us that still have the knowledge to comprehend. If not, why would an Igbo Biafran open a platform, stand there and castigate his own people? Why would an Igbo Biafran open a platform? The only thing he or she will do is to attack the freedom of his own people in issues that are very, very clear. The reasons are major Nigerian media houses have adopted a pattern, and they have recruited some media networks. They have recruited some social media networks on this pattern. What is that pattern? Selective reporting. Selective reporting. biased headlines, and framing that always cast the Igbo struggle as trouble, instability, or rebellion. The most painful thing today is that there are people of Igbo extraction that are in charge of this very program. A program that was made against them. Something that was programmed against them. There are some Igbo Biafrans that are part of this program today. It is heartbreaking, but we will never give up. We will never give up because we know the Judas will always be there. Instead of asking why, they choose labels. Instead of explaining history, they pushed stereotypes. This media environment did not rise by accident. The media environment you have today in Nigeria against the Biafra, against the Igbos, did not rise by accident. It rose from political interest, from national insecurity, and from refusal to confront uncomfortable truth. Every single fact I'm bringing here are verifiable. We don't come here for propaganda of lies. All it takes is for you to use your common sense, apply it, and you get the fact yourself. So many of us know these things, you see these things, but you ignore it. The media environment that we see today did not rise by accident. When you see somebody like Ruben Abati sitting in Arise TV, doing all the damage he's doing against the Biafrans, against the Igbos, it is not by accident. It is not by accident. It rose from political interest, from national insecurity, and from refusal to confront uncomfortable truths. The Igbo story was not just ignored. It was shaped into something negative. Our story was not just ignored. They shaped it into something negative. That it has gotten to an extent that people begin to deny their Igbo-ness. People begin to deny their identity. Igbos began to deny their identity. Some of you don't know the damage Nigeria has done against the Igbo people. More especially their media. Their media. You will not understand. They have done using different kinds of language as a weapon against us. Every single word you speak or use matters a lot. Every single word or speech matters. And for years, the media used certain words to paint the Igbo people and the Biafra movement in a certain light. Words are very powerful. The words you use are very powerful. When you repeat those words over and over and over again, it gets registered in people's memory that whenever they hear that name, Igbo, Biafra, a certain word registers in their memory, and they begin to see you on the negative light. Some of those words are separatists, extremists, agitators, rebels. This word, the media use it over and over. If you're not paying attention, you will not understand the damage they are doing. You will not understand. Anytime a mention of Igbo is mentioned in any Nigerian media, or Biafra is mentioned in any Nigerian media, watch out. You will get one of these words. One of these words must appear. Separatists, extremists, agitators, rebels. One of this word must appear anytime Igbo is mentioned in Nigeria. It doesn't matter what they are discussing. Anytime Igbo is mentioned, anytime Biafra is mentioned, you must hear these words: separatists, extremists, agitators, rebels. Words has power. And it is high time we begin to call these informations out for the world to take note, for other indigenous people to begin to pay attention. The damage is so much, and it's going to take years for us to repair. But we have to start from somewhere. We have to start from somewhere. You can never hear them in Nigerian media using the word like people asking for justice. You can never hear them in Nigerian media talk about Igbos or talk about Biafra and they say people asking for justice. You can't hear that from Nigerian media. Never ever. They will never relate us to people asking for justice. Just like in the case of Mazen Nandekano, go to all their media. No single one of them is speaking about the injustice in the case of Mazen Nandekano. The unjust judgment of Mazen Nandekano, none of them is talking about it. Go to all Nigerian media. What they are attacking is the character of Mazen Nandekano. They will come and they tell you he is not remorse. They will come and tell you he is not remorse. He is too agitated. He is too harsh. But the injustice of Mazen Nandekano, no single media house will emphasize on that. It is not ordinary. This is the narrative. This is how Nigerian media operates. It is something that is done intentionally to put the Igbos, to put Mazen Nandekano in bad light, to put Biafra in bad light. You can never see them in their media, in Nigerian media, using a phrase like constitutional right to self-determination. You can never hear them use this phrase, constitutional right to self-determination, when they are talking about the Biafran people, the Igbo people. They will never use this word, constitutional right to self-determination. They avoid it entirely. They avoid it entirely. The word doesn't exist. Once it has to do with the Igbos, the Biafra people, you will never see something like constitutional right to self-determination in Nigerian media. All of them. No one is exempted. You can never see them mention such. Really, was the Igbo story told from the perspective of suffering, loss, and marginalization? You will never hear them. It is very rare, very, very rare for you to see them tell the Igbo story from the perspectives of suffering, loss, marginalization. Never. Who is going to tell? Is it Abati? Is it Ruben Abati that will sit in Arise television and tell you the story of the Igbos from the side of loss, from the side of suffering, from the side of marginalization? Instead, they sit in their studio and they deny every single atrocity that has been committed against Biafrans. And they went ahead to recruit the international media to toe the same line. And that is why most of I say that injustice against the Biafran people, the Igbo people, does not amount to injustice. Genocide against the Biafran people, against the Igbos, does not amount to genocide. The Christian genocide the whole world is talking about today started from the Igbos, which a pastor, a Yoruba pastor, has also testified on that. Matthew Ashimolowo said it, that it started from the Igbo genocide in the northern part of Nigeria. When they came, the only thing that will make them to take your life, them, was just to be an Igbo. There was different riot in all parts of the north. The attack was on Igbos. Nobody saw it as a genocide. The federal government of Nigeria came down and began to massacre Biafrans who were asking for self-determination. Nobody saw it as genocide. It happened in Aba, mass killing. It happened in Headbridge, mass killing. It happened in Enugu, where we are praying, mass killing. Nobody saw it as genocide. Nobody reported it as genocide. In fact, it is a crime that something that the video was even shown to the late Muhammad Buhari on a national TV, either CNN or where. He was shown. He refused to look at it and he pushed it aside. This is how Nigerian contraption have succeeded in using their media to paint the Igbos, the Biafrans in a bad light. And they are doing it tomorrow. They are doing it tomorrow. But the most painful one is that today, our fellow Igbos, people that speak the same language I speak, they are in the front line today, carrying out the same agenda. You can see in one of the programs I saw in Arise TV, I saw that idiot, Abati, Ape-face was boldly using the example of an Igbo woman who went all the way to the United States to go and testify against the genocide of the Christian people. An Igbo woman. You can imagine. If there is anybody that should go for that mission, it's not supposed to be an Igbo person. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter how much that didn't pay you. It doesn't matter your political stance. If there's anybody that should go and testify against the genocide of the Christians, it must not be an Igbo person. But surprise, an Igbo woman was seen in the United States speaking in support of the Nigerian government. As if that is not enough. You saw what Ojus Okalu did when he was interviewed in China television. Ojus Okalu, being the studio of the caliphate, we know how he made his money. We know people who trained him, and they brought him. You saw the narrative Ojus Okalu brought him. And today, every single media are using the narrative of Ojus Okalu to indict Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. Whenever they mention the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, nobody talks about the injustice. They will tell you that Ojus Okalu said. They will tell you, Ojus Okalu said 30,000 people died in the Southeast. Who is going to be responsible? This is how they create a narrative. These 30,000 people they said died in Southeast. Who took their life? That should be the question. Why were they killed? Why were they killed? Nobody is asking the question. Why were they killed? Who killed them? Nobody is asking that question. But the narrative they paint is that 30,000 people lost their life in Biafra land. That who are those that are going to take responsibility for that 30,000 people? They use an Igbo man, a politician, a lawmaker, to create that narrative. And today, all the media houses in Nigeria are running with that very narrative. That they no longer discuss about the injustice in the case of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. For the fact that Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced with a repealed law. Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was denied representation of his last statement. He was denied representation of himself on the last minute. They don't see that as anything. That Mazen Nnamdi Kanu was convicted with a mere word, puffering. That was why Mazen Nnamdi Kanu got convicted as a terrorist. Mere puffering. It is not a discussion on the national TV. It is not. And you see, look at that. There's another video that is trending. There's another son of a Jezebel, daughter of a Jezebel. There's another daughter of a Jezebel that is trending today. That daughter of Jezebel came on a program where she was calling out Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, accusing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu of different kinds of things. That daughter of Jezebel was accusing Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. She's an Igbo woman. And what did you see? The whole media in Nigeria are running that program. What that woman said. The whole media, they are running it. They are using it on all their platform. You and I were here. Adiola interviewed a man that exposed Nigerian government, indicted them in the atrocity that's happening, indicted the Fulanese in their plans. A top security official, an insider, indicted them. He did not make a headline. That interview did not make a headline in any network. It didn't make a headline. It didn't trend for them. But that daughter of a Decibel that came out and began to speak against Mazin Nandekan, telling people that you don't have to force people to believe in what you believe. Who the hell is forcing you? Mazin Nandekan have said it time and time again that if you want to marry to a Janjaweed, you want to become a Janjaweed and nationalize a Janjaweed, go and nationalize as a Janjaweed. Nobody stops you. But you cannot stop those who want to have the freedom to have freedom. We know that there are few of them, less than 1% of them, who do not care because of their political affiliation, because of their love for money, some because of their relationships, who do not want to affiliate to the issue of Biafra. And we are not forcing them. Mazin Nandekan say, if you want to remain wherever you are and answer or be whatever you want to, it is your business. Nobody is forcing you. But that lady came out and began to spill all different kinds of lies. Began to accuse Mazin Nandekan, also using the narrative of Ojuzokal and the whole media. All the Nigerian media are playing her program. They are playing her voice every single day. They play that video. Anywhere you go on national TV today, on the national media, on the Nigerian media, you will see them playing that very lady's speech. You will see them playing it. But these same people, they were here. They were here. These same people were here. And an interview was granted by Adiola. And we played that interview here. How Tinubu government, Nigerian government, were indicted in what is happening in Nigeria. The plans of the Fulanese, the takeover of Nigeria that is inevitable, that have already almost completed 90% complete. They are not concerned about that. They didn't even talk about it because it doesn't suit their narrative. They never talked about it. But that daughter of a Jezebel, that daughter of a Jezebel that I don't even know where she comes from, who came to begin to claim she's from Abia State, that she is from Abia State, that her people have suffered. We cannot force her to go to Biafra. In fact, not all of them are supporting Biafra. And who the hell said that everybody is supporting the Biafra? And who wants you supporting the Biafra? Who wants you supporting Biafra? The Biafra cause is not a force. There's never a time everybody said that it must be everybody. But what we know democratically is that majority carries the votes. Numbers matters. You are entitled to your opinion, just like we say here. You are entitled to hold on to your opinion. That you don't want to be part of Biafra, nobody is going to force you. Go ahead and be whatever you want to be. But at the same time, you cannot be a stumbling block to those who want to have their freedom. It is a shame that Nigerian media will always continue to put us on a bad light. And the most painful is that we are the people that are in the front line promoting them. I shed tears when I saw a TikTok program that was being hosted by, what do they call him? Ikenga. That guy they call Ikenga. This was a man who was in the front line of the cause of Biafra, talking about Biafra every day. For one reason or the other, today he is in the front line of condemning everything, hosting a program, bringing idiots like himself, to come and say things that have never existed, accusing IPOB of different kinds of things. If that guy Ikenga could accuse IPOB of different kinds of accusation, I just bumped into their program and I was just listening. There is no amount of accusation they did not make. And this idiot was there hosting the program. There is no amount of accusation. And say, at least that guy was in IPOB not less than a decade. He was in IPOB not. So does it mean that for good 10 years, more than 10 years, you could not be able to reason? How long does it take a human being to reason and know what is wrong and what is right? How long do you have to be an idiot for you to recollect that, yes, you are an idiot? These are the people who have now today volunteered themselves to be used as an instrument against their own people. The media war is so heavy that if you see anybody that still finds time to gossip, or you still find time to look at irrelevant issues, you pity that very person. You pity that very person. In their media, what do you see? You can hardly see them really referring us as people seeking for justice. They can never refer us to as people seeking for justice, even though they know that everything against us is injustice. That's grave injustice against the Biafran people, against the Igbo people. Even though they know that self-determination is our constitutional right, they will never use that language. Never, ever. In the story of Biafra, each time they tell the story of Biafra, they will never refer us as people who suffered, people who have lost. They will never agree to the marginalization of the Biafran people, the Igbo people. This is not accidental. It is not accidental. It is strategic narrative building. That is what it is. A strategic narrative building. And some of us are still there in our platform, gossiping. Some of us who have bigger platforms, celebrities, and all of that, you are still there gossiping. You are still there entertaining yourself. You are still there doing comedy. The demonization of Biafra. That is one of the heavy propaganda they are carrying. They demonize Biafra. The moment Biafra is mentioned, Nigerian media switches into alarm mode. Have you noticed that? The moment Biafra is mentioned, Nigerian media switches into alarm mode. Biafra is portrayed as a chaos. That is how they see Biafra. They see Biafra as chaos. They see Biafra as danger. Each time you go to the media, they portray Biafra as danger. Biafra is portrayed as something the world must fear. And this is what we see on their media. But what is the real story? What is the real story? Why are some of us keeping silent? We are not telling the story. We have to tell the real story. The real story, the truth is that Biafra at the core is about identity. The truth about Biafra is that it is about identity. Biafra is about survival. Biafra is about safety. Biafra is about human rights. And Biafra is about a cry for dignity. This is the truth about Biafra. Biafra at the core is about identity, survival, safety, human rights, and a cry for dignity. Millions of people lost their lives. Yet, instead of empathy, the media build suspicions. Each time you hear them talk about Biafra, a situation where millions, mostly children, lost their lives, instead of empathy, the media build suspicion instead of investigating complaints. They amplify political talking points. That is what they do. Go to their media, pay attention while you are watching them. Pay attention. Instead of investigating the complaints, they amplify political talking points. Biafra become a forbidden word. Not because of violence, but because the truth behind it was inconvenient for those in power. This is a fact that everybody on the planet Earth should know. This is a fact that everybody that cares about humanity should know. Biafra became a forbidden word, not because of violence, but because the truth behind it was inconvenient for those in power. That is why they tag Biafra a forbidden word. Each time they mention Biafra, it indicts every one of them on war crime. Each time you mention Biafra, everybody in Nigeria that makes that Nigeria stand today, everybody in power is indicted in war crime. That is why they make it a forbidden word. A war crime where innocent children were murdered in cold blood. They don't want to hear it. They don't want the world to see that. They don't want the world to pay attention to that. But are we going to be silent? Never. Never. That word will never get out of our mouth. Never. It is so sad. The Igbo people and perception politics. That is one other thing we have there. The Igbo people and perception politics. The Igbo man is in business. They call us over-ambitious. When they come to business, instead of them to tell you that Igbo man is progressing in business, he's hardworking, they will tell you an Igbo man is over-ambitious. That is how they address the case of Igbo man in their media. When it comes to politics, when they want to attack you, they will tell you that you are too outspoken. The Igbo woman in politics, too outspoken. The Igbo man in politics, too outspoken. When an Igbo community asks for fairness, asks for equality, what do their media do? Their media will come and tell you that they are troublemakers. They will tag us troublemakers. This stereotype factor was powered by media narrative that never gave the Igbo people a fair hearing. Never. This stereotype factor was powered. This stereotype factor was powered by media narrative that never gave Igbo people a fair hearing. Never gave the Biafrans a fair hearing. And the result, a nation where an entire ethnic group is misunderstood, misjudged, and misrepresented. That is what we have in Nigeria. A nation where an entire ethnic group is misunderstood, misjudged, and misrepresented. And yet, the Igbo people continue to build, continue to contribute, continue to innovate, and continue to stand strong. There is another part that the people are afraid to talk about: the Western hypocrisy. The hypocrisy of the Western world is another part that people do not want to talk about. Many are afraid to talk about it. The Western hypocrisy, many do not want to. This one, you can never hear it in any media. They don't want to talk about it. The same Western nations that lecture the world about human rights. The same nation that speak loudly when issues happen in other parts of the world often go silent when injustice happen in Africa, especially against minority groups. Why? Look at the grave injustice against Mazen Nnamdi Kanu that was televised across the whole world. It was a national program, televised across the world. Injustice televised. That is celebration of injustice, and the whole world partake in that celebration of injustice. And up till now, they are silent and they are moving on. Nobody is coming to call out. Nobody is going to call them out. It is sad. Very, very sad. And we must not accept it because it is absolutely unacceptable. Because political interests are louder than moral obligation. That is why people do not care. Injustice against a black person, more especially the Biafran people, does not amount to injustice. Nobody wants to talk about it. The same people that preach to us about human rights and justice, they don't care. They know the history. They know the humanitarian record. They know the grievances, but silence becomes convenient. The world knows the history of the Biafran people. They know our history. The world knows the humanitarian record on what transpired during the Civil War and what continues to happen up to today. They know. The world knows our grievances. But silence becomes convenient for them. When African voices cry, the world turns down the volume. Just like in the case of Biafra. When an African voice cries, the world turns down the volume. This is the hypocrisy we must expose peacefully, factually, and boldly. We must expose it. Yes, we must. This conversation is not about incitement. This is not about hate. This is not about attacking anyone. This conversation is about awareness. It is about historical truth. It is about media responsibility. It is about the dignity of a people and the need for fair global engagement. Today, I am speaking because silence has harmed us so much. We have to speak because silence has harmed us so much. We speak because the truth deserves oxygen. Our message today is simple. Give the Igbo people fair media representation. Stop demonizing peaceful advocacy. Let history be told accurately let the world pay equal attention to African struggles. Justice grows where truth is allowed to stand, and truth grows where people are willing to speak. The injustice in Nigeria against us is so much. It is much, much painful because they have penetrated so deep that today our own brothers are in the front line. Even at this time when you see that the takeover of Nigeria is almost completed, security experts have come on an interview, on national TV, on an interview, they said that the takeover of Nigeria has completed almost 80%, 90%. And yet, what concerns you is to fight against your brother, to fight against your sister. What concerns you is to see me as your enemy. You think I'm your problem. Look at some of the voice messages that's going around calling for attention. The Fulanis have taken over the entire Biafra land. The same people that we are fighting against Mazi Simon Ekpa when he was fighting. The same people who say call Mazi Simon a troublemaker. Today, before their own very eyes, I saw one of them, the one they call a Bukiudik or what.